Apologies, folks. Hi, everybody. As always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am Coach Paul, and this is Hola Prime's Market News Update. U.S. and Japanese equity futures markets are trading higher as U.S. President Donald Trump says he has completed a massive deal with Japan. Details supposedly involve a $550 billion investment in the United States, and Japan will pay a reciprocal tariff to the US of 15%. Japan will also open its country to more trade, including cars. More news coming out of Japan as Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba lost his upper house majority today, or in the recent election. Given the result, there is speculation that we could see Ishiba increase government spending to gain opposition support and the uncertainty surrounding the political landscape, which could force the Bank of Japan to slow its pace of interest rate hikes. With this, we could see a major revival of the yen carry trade that unwound last year. The yen USD traded up about 0.46% today. The US dollar continued its weakness against other major currency pairs today. To start, Euro USD strengthened 0.48%, closing at 1.1796 today. Also, CAD USD had some strong gains, securing 0.56% to the upside in today's session, closing at 0.73685. GBP USD continued its bounce back, trading up 0.3%. The Swiss franc gained about 0.7% against the US dollar, the strongest of the pairs, closing at 1.27115. Lastly, the New Zealand dollar fared well, up about 0.5% on the day. Gold continued its bullish trend from yesterday, closing at $3,444 per ounce, another solid gain of about 1% today on the futures. Silver also traded to the same tune, as its futures traded up 1.1% on the day, closing at about $39.50 per ounce. Briefly, on the cryptocurrency front, Bitcoin futures were off to the races as it gained $2,640 on the day, or about 2.2%. Ethereum was roughly flat. Last but not least, for our crude oil traders, we have inventories data coming out tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, without further ado, it's time for our live markets trading, our quiet markets live trading session with both myself and Coach Tiger. So let's get to trading. Well, hello there, Coach Tiger.
Well, hi.
How was your day?
It's going well. How about you, my friend?
Awesome.
Happy Tuesday. Tuesday evening, I should say.
It's going well, except for not having my mic in proper order there for the first minute. But we clawed back there and got the news out. Apologies to the viewers there, but we did it. I was able to still get the news done right on time.
That's
so
right.
it was all good. So a lot of Japanese news today, man. That's all I saw on the headlines over the last couple hours. So that was pretty interesting, I must say.
Yeah. I mean, between that and the trade deals that Trump managed to pull off, I mean, it's been a little bit of exciting today, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, meeting with the president of the Philippines, it sounds like they've got a trade deal working. So,
Mm.
you know what? If you're part of the Trump administration, you got to be happy with the way today went. I mean, between the Indonesia deal and then keeping 19% tariffs on reciprocal, and then Japan, my gosh, a 550 billion investment, like you said, and Japan will keep
Mhm.
10% of all those profits, so they're getting something back for that, right? So that's kind of a win-win. But yeah, the
Yeah,
15%
yeah.
tariff on Japan as well. So yeah, between Scott Bessent and President Trump, and all the characters in the commerce and finance departments, I'm sure they're pretty happy today with the way the day shaped out. So um, yeah, it's better to
Yeah.
hear deals than nothing than fighting, right?
Yeah, no, that is for sure. I agree. Especially like Japan is such a, like an integral part of the international economy. It's good to see the United States and Japan playing nicely, and hopefully we can see more of the same across other countries as
Yeah,
well. I will not pretend that I know too much about all of the situations, but hey, it'll definitely make for some interesting trading in some of these markets. So
yeah,
I am,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
I'm sure you saw like the Nasdaq and the S&P and stuff, like, and the yen popped at roughly what is that,
Yeah,
like 6ish p.m. Eastern time or so, when all that news came out. So about 2 hours ago. So actually, sorry, 7 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. your time Central.
yeah,
But
yeah. Japan,
yeah,
the Nikkei, yeah, just flying like crazy. What percentage of a move was that even? Let me calculate that real quick. Yeah, the Nikkei had a 2.88% move
jeez,
in 2 hours. 2.88% in
that's
2 hours.
wild.
Yeah,
That's
I
wild.
mean they're
The,
now
the
pretty well at the yeah they're pretty well at a topping area. I mean, running into an overhead supply if I'm looking at the daily chart. So, I would expect to see some more bounce back to the south from here, but it could very well push right through that, because that particular zone, or resistance point, however people want to characterize it, it's already been hit.
yeah,
Just hit a few days ago, I think. Monday the 30th. Oh, June 30th. So right out a month ago. So it's hitting that same overhead resistance, overhead supplies. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we can push our way through that. But
hmm
yeah, yeah, they're enjoying their market over there today, huh?
dude, the Nikkei just the moves that it makes. You want people talk, I mean, like, even including myself, talk about like the Nasdaq is like volatile and stuff and makes whippy moves. Jeez, man, the
Mm-hmm.
Nikkei is like a whole other beast. I feel like it's always had some kind of moniker on it like that, but yeah,
Yeah.
jeez, man,
Well, I
crazy.
mean, it was helped by the fact that the big banks and institutions, they did, just looking at the COT report, they did increase their long percentage by 1.24% as of the update of this Friday report that just came out. So they're clearly looking to scoop up shares, and um, just looking at some contrarian signals. The retail crowd is actually net short, so that's more of a contrarian signal. Good seasonality, obviously good trend, and then just looking into some of the economic data that they've had over there, that they've had bullish surprises on their readings for GDP, the services PMIs, the PCE, the employment change. So they've had a slew of some pretty good, economic surprises as far as the forecasted numbers, and then the numbers that exceeded that. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's looking pretty good. But yeah, that definitely the political environment seems to be favor. The market seemed to be liking it. So we'll see how far it goes. It's definitely too
yeah,
expensive for me to just jump into the Nikkei right now. But if we could get some pullbacks, then I'd definitely be interested in jumping into some Nikkei trades. But yeah, it's just a little too high right now on the curve, what I call the curve. So give me some discounts and I might be jumping into this thing. But yeah, it probably won't be
Yeah.
happening in the next year or so because it's like I said, that almost 3% move in the last 2 hours. It's going to have to retrace quite a bit. And because it's bouncing into that overhead supply. Actually, back end, if you just want to go ahead and share my chart, and I'll just show everybody
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
looking at on the new. Yeah. So yeah, so this is where that move started, like you said, around 6:10 p.m. Central Time. That is so Central Time here in the U.S. But I mean, it's just been flying up, and if I just full screen this puppy and just go to a daily time frame, you guys will see this overhead supply that I'm talking about. Now, this was from way back of last year, so this is literally a year old. This supply zone up here, but over the course of the last year, price got up and kind of flirted with it, but turned around and went down. Well, it has since retraced, and back on June 30th, it actually whipped right into that zone. So, not a lot, but just a little, and that's all it takes sometimes just to get a reversal off of these zones. So, sure enough,
Yeah.
curled back down, but it's retraced, and it's basically at the moment in the process of creating a little bit of a double top. So, just throwing that line on there from that way high, it's still got a little ways to go, but yeah, I mean, I would expect to see, some retracement because that's just a big push, my friend, on some pretty good
Yeah.
volume too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely not
And now,
what I would call a fake spike. It's a legit spike. That's where the effort matched up with the result. The volume coming in, the price spiking. Now you see this candle here for the previous hour that just closed 9 minutes ago. It was a much smaller candle than this candle to the left, but it was almost double the volume. So when I see that, that tells me that the move is starting to get a little bit more fake because it's a little less volume. Well, that's not surprising to me because it is. It's bouncing into that year-old overhead demand supply zone. So, it wouldn't surprise
yeah.
me at all to see a pretty good pullback. And
Mhm.
I mean, let me reset this. I just looking at some of these smaller time frames. I mean, looks like the first demand zone that comes out is this one here on a 10 minutes time frame. So could we see an even deeper retracement? Yeah, we could even come down to this 5 minute zone. That's a pretty wide zone for such a small time frame, and understandably so because it was such a big move in a very short period of time. So I'm just going to throw an alert right here just to see what happens if we can get a retracement down to this point. I think that's going to be pretty close to the 61.8 level too, if I'm looking at it right. Let me just take a quick look at that. Swing low to swing high. Yeah, it's right on the 61.8 level. So that might be a potential spot, to maybe take a small stab at this. I'm actually going to put my alert just above the 61.8. So a little deeper into the zone, like the 50% of the zone.
Yeah.
And then, we might take a look at that, take a look at possibly buying that. So
I like it. I would love to see you get into a Nikkei trade. That would be I'd be living vicariously through you since I just am not going to be able to do that on the futures.
right. Yeah, now that may not happen on our stream unless we just get a super quick pullback, but
No, of
we'll
course
see.
not. Yeah, no. I would no
Maybe.
more so. I'll just live vicariously through you, and then I'll be able to hear the update if you ever do get into a Nikkei trade, and you can just let me know how it went.
Yep.
Essentially,
Yep. Yeah.
fingers crossed.
But yeah. Let me see here. So yeah, right here was the peak volume on this candle here, and then the next candle, that's when the volume started going down. So to me that makes sense because again, it's kind of bouncing into that supply. So we'll see. I don't know what the price action will do from here, but I'll have a plan if it does happen to retrace because again, when I look at the Nikkei on my edge finder, it's giving me a very bullish score of a 12. So really good sentiment numbers, really good technical numbers, and then it looks like I'm sorry. I was looking at the NASDAQ. I'm sorry. So Nikkei is an 8. So it's still a bullish score, but not quite in the very bullish category.
Right.
But still good sentiment, good sentiment numbers, good technical numbers, and then kind of a mix on the economic data side of things. But look to take a stab, but it's way too expensive. I just need a pullback.
Yeah, yeah, and it is interesting to see how much, yeah, the volume traded up on the like the Nikkei. It is interesting to see how heavy the volume is and how just this Japanese market, man, is just it's doing some wonders. It's really popping off. I mean, over these just over these last couple like 2 or 3 years or so, the comeback it's had in general is pretty cool. So fun to
Mm-hmm.
see. Can't wait to go back over there and visit there again. I visited Japan a little over a year ago, actually, for the first time. So
Yeah.
awesome
I always,
place. I mean, highly,
it's on my bucket
highly
list, man.
recommend.
I definitely want to get out there at some point. This is my famous
Yeah,
Hungarian flag. I like to pull up, y'all. So, when we're looking at the curve, we're looking at the swing high and or I should say the swing low, swing high. I just like to bring this flag up just kind of as a joke, but it also proves a point. I mean, it's too expensive to buy where it's red, right? That's where that's where it's better to short something, if nothing else. But when you see green, that's really the better areas to start buying something. So, yeah, you can
hmm
see it's kind of right in the middle. That 61.8, just a little high, but it's still a 61.8 level. If we're just looking at that extreme move where the volume starts, right? So, yeah, definitely don't want to be buying up
hmm
here. I'd prefer it to come down. So, don't diddle in the middle, but
yeah,
wait till it comes back to green. That's kind of the way I see that as far as the curve
yeah.
goes. But yeah,
How was the?
what's that?
Oh, sorry, apologies. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're good. No, you're good. I was just going to say
Um,
that supply, that higher time frame supply zone, that will definitely have some type of effect. It's just a matter of how deep
yeah,
it would retrace, but it could blow right through it. I mean, I don't know. It just history typically says price bounces from supply zones to demand zones on the higher time frame. So, it doesn't mean it has to obey it, but probability says it'll retrace. But we'll see.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, for sure. You did you were like how was your morning session? Did you end up having any setups that came in and you got into any trades or nothing popped up for you?
I had a small loss on the Nazi, so let's take a quick look here.
Ah,
I think it
interesting.
was, where was I? Was it the Nazi? I'm sorry. I got to look at my other platform real quick. I think it was, let's see here. Let's see here. Still learning this puppy. History. Nazi. Yeah, it was the Nazi. Yeah, so looking at the Nazi. So again, the Nazi's giving me a very bullish score. So it's all about timing this thing. I had
Yeah,
looked at this hour demand zone candle here, right here.
yeah.
Yep. I'm getting another alert. Austin, I'll check that out in here in just a second. Oh, okay. Sorry, let me shut up my alert real quick. All right. So yeah, Nazi, I was looking at this one earlier. I like the way this thing's set up. Going down to my 15. So when I was looking at this trade earlier, I noticed that we had obviously the lower lows coming into the zone. I did also have the RSI making a divergence, right? Started making a little bit of a divergence. So that told me, okay, if I get into this area, we might possibly have a shot at this. And yeah, it kind of came up, made a double top, but then 8:30 a.m. So basically, the market opened. Yeah, the market had different ideas, so it just dropped right straight through. But yeah, it was still a good setup. I mean, if I had to nitpick this, I didn't really get a whole lot of the type of basing action I like to see before the retracement. I mean, I normally like to see price kind of come in and go up a little higher and just kind of dance around, create the liquidity. But at the same time, this leg out, the 8 a.m. central leg out, didn't really go that high. But with the Nazi, I've missed about 3 or 4 different trade opportunities that I've been keeping my eyes on some higher time frames. It's just run off and left me. This thing's just been parabolic of late. So I thought, well, we'll try it on a smaller time frame. And yeah, as you can see, it just had different ideas. It basically came down to this this zone a little further down. So basically, let me see here. Pull out my rectangle. Yeah, it's basically now, I think, bouncing off of this one. Yeah. So you just never know which zone is going to be the one. I mean, it just so happened it was this 4-hour demand zone where it kind of wicked in nicely, and it's now trying to bounce to the upside. So I just took a stab at that smaller time frame. Obviously, let's see, 7 a.m. What does that look like on a smaller time frame? 8 o'clock. Yeah, I was asleep by then. Of course, after my stream, that's when I typically go to sleep. So of course I missed it, but yeah, a lot of volume obviously during the New York Open, and it just kind of bounced in nicely. And it hasn't been anything too great. I mean, it's not like it just hit it and just bounced up like crazy. So it's just been kind of slow and lazy out of it. But yeah, I mean, even at that, it's still almost a 2-to-1, basically a 2-to-1.
Yeah.
63.
Yeah.
612. Yeah. So 2-to-1 currently. I mean, if somebody were in that play, they might look at this little area here as a potential supply zone to, maybe make sure you take your profits in this area, or at least bring your stop loss up and just let it ping pong around. If it happens to break that high, great. Just leave your stop loss down here where it's at. Wait till it breaks that high and then maybe bring a little higher. So, that's basically how I would have managed that trade. Oh my gosh, I'm getting all kinds of alerts. Paul, flip on over here to the other. All right, Euro Canada dollar. Where are we at? Okay, so this is one I drew up this morning. Euro Canada dollar is giving me. Oh, you know what? That one actually fell back to neutral. Okay, so that one was giving me a bullish signal this morning, but it's actually fallen to a 4. So if I look at the euro, let's see what info changed. I like to look at the heat map for each currency to see what changed. Okay, so euro, so they had a neutral CPI report last week. And then the Canada dollar, let me see here. Yesterday, the Canada dollar, they had a bearish report come out for the PPI, the year over year. Yeah, the Canada dollar is one of the weakest currencies I still have showing as far as the economic surprises. So it's one that's missed a lot of expectations. They've only had 2 that have exceeded expectations, and that was back on July 11th. That was the unemployment numbers. Unemployment rate, employment change, but everything else is bearish except for the neutral CPI report we had come out a week ago. But
right.
Let me see here. EuroCAD, yeah, score of a 4. Yeah, it's just a little bit. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on this though. It's kind of a narrow demand zone, especially in context of the fact that it went quite a ways away before it returned. Let me look at this. Measure this. 70 pips away, and then it's come back. So 15 minutes. Yeah, I don't know. It might be a little too narrow for me to want to use that as a jump in. Now, one thing that I do like on this, though, it did have there was a former resistance point that is going right straight through the center of that zone, which is that blue dash line. That's actually just above it. So let's see here. Let's see. Make some decisions here. Is that worth taking a trade?
By the way,
yeah.
By the way, I did just get long a MES contract. I really wanted to get in long quicker, but it just looks like, from what I'm seeing, it looks like essentially the ES is setting up to. I think it's going to try and break the overnight highs. It kind of looks like the NASDAQ and the ES want to try and break the all-time or the overnight highs, not all-time highs. I mean, I guess actually, what is the all-time high here for the ES? No, it's not even close. 63.75 would roughly be the all-time. So yeah, not even close. But the overnight of 63.64, I think it could go up to. So I got into one contract. It wasn't. I should share my screen too. I should.
Yeah, go right ahead. Because I'm looking at this one off. off anyway. Yeah, go ahead
Here
and
we
flip over to
go.
Paul. Back in.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some analysis on this one while you're at it.
I
Okay.
would have preferred to get in. I was, it's funny. It's kind of funny to hear a trader say this, but like I tend to say this relatively, not like frequently, but like it happens somewhat commonly where I get in and I'm like, man, I would love for price to pull. Like I feel confident in it to where like I feel like if price pulls back, I would love to just get into another contract. I didn't like the idea of getting into two
Mm.
contracts where I had to get into the position simply because it's closer to the top end of where it was like trying to break out essentially. And I don't like getting into really any positions that are breaking out. But in a overnight market, I feel like that market can get away from you pretty quickly. So I was
Mm-hmm.
okay with getting in with one lot. The risk isn't too large. And if it pulls back, I would love to get into another lot closer to like 63, 54 ish. That would be pretty great if that could happen. But if it runs, I mean, I'm not going to argue with the one lot running up
Right.
past, overnight highs. So
Can't
won't
complain about a
argue
profit,
it.
huh?
Yeah, definitely cannot, especially
It's
after
easier
last
said
night's
than
session, which was
yeah.
a little bit
That's
rough.
easier said
So,
than done, though. Yeah,
oh, I know. You're right.
because
You're
we always
right.
want more. Oh, I just got this. I just profited 50 pips. I wanted 100, or if I,
Yep.
stuff like that. Yeah. Sometimes we put limitations on ourselves. I used to be horrible about that. Like, put in my take profit just a 3 to 1. That's kind of how I started because that's the way I was taught. Just go for 3 to 1 profits every time. But yeah, I'd get so mad. I'd get that 3 to 1. I'm like, I went to 5 to 1, 6 to 1, 7 to 1. So that's when I
Yep.
really started doing the trailing stops, just like below the swing low points. After I do get to that 1 to 1, get the risk off the trade, just let her ride. So yeah, it seems to work a little
Yep.
better. Now sometimes I do get taken out earlier than I want because I am trailing it so close, but
Hey.
it takes away losses too. So there's trade offs no matter what you do. I mean,
Yeah. Nature of
if
the
you just
game.
put in a 3 to 1, a 1 to 1, 1 to 2, if you trail your stops, or if you just wait for it to do the whole move. I mean, there's really trade offs. I don't think there's any real right or wrong way to do it. It's just, again, well, like I always say, just whatever people's risk tolerance is. But I
Yeah.
think you and
It.
I are the same in that aspect. We just want to get rid of the risk as quick as possible. Just let it run,
Yeah.
let it do its thing.
Exactly. It's actually that's very true. Like I do like getting rid of the risk when there is a clear indication of for example, like if it makes sense, if like I was to move my stop up to break even because that break even area would make sense in terms of like the trade just simply wouldn't be working out in the way that I envisioned it anymore, then I definitely move the stop. But if we like, for example, if like we're running and essentially the last pivot point is still where my original stop is, like I can't move it. I won't move it for the sake of trying to be true to the trade, I guess, like
Mm-hmm.
to where
Yeah.
essentially wherever I would genuinely be proven wrong in my thesis, I think is the point. And a lot of the time it ends up working out to where I can move my stop up because my thesis would be broken if it went back to break even. It wouldn't have made sense anymore. But I agree. I think taking a lot of the pressure off of you by like moving up to break even at a reasonable point is, I think it's very helpful for traders in general, which is why people like Tom Hogarth are so revered, because it's like those guys, their brains are just different.
Yeah.
They're not doing that very often, or when they are so deep in the money when they're moving their stops. There'd be a lot of people that couldn't even, they'd just be like, take the whole position off. And instead, they're not only not taking the position off, they're not moving their stop and they're adding to their
They
position.
don't have a
So,
pulse. They don't have a pulse. They could lose. Yeah, Tom Hogarth, great example. He could lose. He could lose $100,000 or profit $500,000, and He's going to have the same
Yeah.
pulse. Like when you get to
Yeah.
that point, man, that's baller status right there. To be able to win or
Yeah.
lose and not affect your personality or your nerves whatsoever. Like, I mean, I'm sure they still get nervous and think about it, but what I'm saying is they don't let it affect anything. The line in the
Hmm.
sand is the line in the sand. Yeah, I
Yeah.
still move stops from time to time because I'll look at a zone and if it's starting to get pretty close, you start having head games go on in your head. Like, okay, well, if I do look further back in time, there is a little bit lower of a point that might potentially be, a double bottom potentially. So you look to move below or whatever. So yeah, it's a tough
Hmm.
game. Like I like to think I'm pretty good at it, but yeah, even 12 years in, I still will move a stop from time to time, and almost never does it work out. Like it might work out once every 10 times, right? So it's not worth it. But yeah, that's just part of yeah, it's just human nature. We try to create reasons in our head why we should alter it, why we should move it. But
Right.
um, you know, and something that reminds me of even like when I went through all my online trading classes, um, we talk about setting limit orders or getting in on a market order or waiting for a confirmation entry after price enters a zone, comes out and starts going the other way. Like there's a few different ways to do it, but man, they say
Yeah.
that just if you're writing up good zones or good price points, regardless of what your entry type is or your trading style, like the if you're doing it right, you should just be able to set up limit orders and just let the market do the whole
Hmm.
thing. So not moving your stop loss, not trailing once you get into profits, and then just leaving in whatever the 3-1 or the 4-1 or whatever your risk reward is. Because
Yeah.
they say that honestly, the people that don't sit and stare at their charts and micromanage, they just set it and truly forget it. Like they typically do better, and that's a hard pill to swallow because we just want to micromanage, right?
Yeah. It's true. It
So
is true.
I'm,
Like it's kind of like the over analysis that like psychs
yeah.
you out. Like if you just there's too many data inputs for your brain to handle it in a rational way. There's like a limit that there's that limit, and yeah, I can totally see that. And that I mean, I think that's a lot why a lot of people are, just long. There's a lot of long only people because it's like being long in any like stock in the stock market, for example, for any like a large cap stock, just you feel comfortable relatively speaking. So you can kind of buy a stock, set it and forget it. But with futures trading and stuff, it's a different game for sure because it's more so meant for hedging, but hedging purposes.
Mhm.
But yeah, looks like the ES right now is quickly coming back into that area where I'd like to get long actually another contract. So I'm going
Mhm.
to, it's getting close. I need to wait until it gets to like the 54 area. And then I can get in another one.
Yeah, I'm taking a look
I
at a
want to get,
short sale myself off screen. I'll see Swiss.
okay.
Get that other contract in though. I'm just writing up a pending
Oh,
trade
I
at the
know.
moment.
I've literally was just saying to myself, like, I want this other contract, but it's still not coming down enough to where I would feel comfortable to get in. Come on. I just,
Yeah. Do you
I
do you
rarely would
prefer
root against my, what?
Yeah. Do you prefer doing it that way? Like you put in your initial order and then you want price to kind of go against you in order to tag that second order? Or do you prefer to just do the whole order at once?
It depends. It depends on how it's like a real time learning of, or real time understanding of me knowing how my execution is going to be. Like, if, for example, like if I like kind of missed my execution, but I still think the execution is like all right, then in that moment I'll be like, okay, I'll get long the one. If it does pull back a little bit more, I can get long the other. But if I get really, if I'm on the ball and I know I can get perfect execution there within the next few seconds, I'll just get into the full position. I'll get in 2 or 3
Yeah.
contracts immediately and then just and be good with it. And it's like it just so basically the point is I know whether or not the execution is excellent or meh. So and
Mm-hmm.
depending, I will be more aggressive or less aggressive. So
Gotcha. Okay. That
scaling
makes
into
sense.
positions is it's an interesting thought when it doesn't really work unless you have a general zone that you think is a good like zone to be buying in. And so it
Right.
shouldn't be like I'm getting in because I'm afraid of missing out. And then if it comes back into the area that I actually like, then I'll buy more. It's not that. It's I'm still in the zone that I generally would like to be buying in. I'm just closer to the upper end of it. So I'd like to get into something. And if it pulls a little bit more into that zone, I would like to get into more of it. And that like my full
Yeah.
position. That's kind of the
Yeah,
more
that makes
so the
sense.
thought. But
That makes
yeah.
total sense. Yeah. Just looking for a little confirmation before I short this, and then I'll show it here in a little bit.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you still a little ways away from yours, yeah.
Oh yeah, you
Now
can
what
take it. I'll update.
what price did you say you were looking to tag in the second contract? 60.
63.54 is where I would really like
Oh, the
to.
blue line. Oh, okay. I don't.
Yes, yeah, yeah, a little bit below that blue line, essentially. Or honestly, 63.54, like 50, I'd be cool with. So yeah, basically that blue line would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
It almost wicked to it. It was 2 ticks off of that blue line on the first initial move down, but I have a feeling I'm going to get the opportunity, but we'll see.
All right. Yeah, just watching a couple more minute candles here. Yeah, we can flip on over to mine if you want.
Yeah, yeah, let's do it. Let's flip.
Aussie Swiss, everybody. So Aussie Swiss is giving me a very bearish bias. So let me flip this the upper opposite end real quick. I'm just looking off screen over here at my edge finder, but yeah. So yeah, COT reports favoring this as a short. Retail positioning, seasonality, trend, GDP report, manufacturing PMI. This is all favoring the short sell, unemployment rate, and interest rates. So there's no reports going against this trade as far as reports that are, exceeding expectations to favor the Aussie. It's all favoring the Swiss. Now, Swiss is one of the strongest currencies right now. So yeah, other than all the ones, in confirming this to be bearish, there's like 6 other reports as far as retail sales, inflation reporting, employment change. Those all came out neutral. So yeah, this is a very good one to sell. So basically, if I just kind of zoom on out, and it's obviously hit my zone. Now I'm looking at it on a 15-minute supply area right here. So
Mm-hmm.
once it left that area, yeah, just nice volume coming out of it, and just turn around and broke all these lows here. So I don't worry too much on the small time frames about the Fibonacci's. I mean, I'll still look at it, but yeah, I mean, like this one would be up in the what they call the kill zone. So I'll have to talk about that on another stream, but I want to be better prepared to explain it. It's more of a smaller time
Yeah,
frame, but basically they use the 71 to 88 retracement, right? So that's
yeah,
just
yeah,
something that's something I see in my head, but it'll make more sense. I'll probably study. I'll probably look some stuff up and bring that to tomorrow's session, or maybe even Thursday when you come back. We'll talk about
oh,
it.
that would
But
be sweet.
anyway,
Real quick though,
yeah,
real quick on the
yes,
comments. I forgot to mention the comment section. Let it be 7. How you doing, man? Matrix saying hello. Hey there. Glad to see you in the chat. Pluvio man again. Hey guys. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. And let it be asking if I trade the NQ as well. I do trade the NQ. I mainly was an ES trader. I mainly am an ES trader, but I have been dabbling in especially in the New York sessions. I dabble in the NQ, the Dow. You'll see me take some Dow trades, and then also gold. I do look at crude oil a little bit, crude oil futures, but I have not yet taken a crude oil future trade live on session. So I will. I used to trade crude oil pretty commonly back in the day. Back in the day is like 5-ish years ago. I remember looking at crude
Yeah.
oil when I remember like trading crude oil when the price of a barrel went negative. I don't know if you guys remember that
Oh yeah.
event. Insane. People are
COVID,
like, I'll
right?
take, yeah, and talk about crazy, dude, crazy market. But anyway, so yeah, so that's roughly what I trade, and you'll see me probably take an NQ trade on these night sessions every once in a while, and I have done it actually. So it just looked better. There looked like a little bit easier of an opportunity on the ES for this setup, even though the Nasdaq and the ES are kind of looking similar, shaping up to be similar in this overnight session. So yeah, and I'm currently two and a half points in the money at the moment. The Nasdaq and the S&P are turning up a little bit right now, so that's nice. But anyway, Coach Tiger, continue.
Turn
Sorry.
up. Turn up. No, that's good stuff. Yeah, I remember. I remember watching that market just drop. What? I don't know how far into the negative, but yeah, that was. And I don't.
Yeah, dude.
I've never traded oil up into that point. I was just like, what the hell's going on? How do they trade that?
It is crazy. It was like one of those situations where literally oil like storage facilities genuinely couldn't take delivery of oil because they were
Yeah.
so full. It was like we just don't have space, and that's genuinely why it went negative, because it's like, well, I can't put it in the storage unit or the storage facility, so I guess I'm going to have to put it in grandpa's garage or something. I don't even know, like, it was just crazy. It was absolutely crazy.
People having oil show up to their porch, kind of like we joked about the oranges showing up to your door
Yes.
instead of the warehouse or from the
Yeah.
warehouse.
So
God, that
true,
is
man.
so
It's
funny.
hilarious.
I imagine everybody had to have been just losing their minds that trade oil,
Oh yeah.
or especially have their
Brokerages.
whole life savings in it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like the brokerages were not even allowing trading of oil at that point. They like, I think essentially just like the anybody connected to like the CME could, but aside from that, it was like, all the main brokerages that you could trade with were like, nope, volatility is way too crazy. We are not allowing anybody to trade those futures contracts. And
Yeah,
it's like, okay, I
that's
guess.
crazy. I was just
Yeah.
looking at a couple of these. Um, man, yeah. So Nazi. Speaking of Nazi, like I said, I had that small loss earlier this morning up here. Well, it tagged this 5 minute zone just nicely.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I don't think I went over that one yet, but yeah, that was just a beaut. So currently, I'm looking at the Aussie Swiss. That's the one I'm looking at right now on the other brokerage account. Aussie dollar, is that still giving me a bearish bias? Let me look. Aussie dollar, Aussie dollar. Yeah, so -7. So I've got a couple of different alerts working here. So yeah, this was another one where it's just kind of rolled over nicely and made a lower low. Looks like this is trying to make a lower high, right? That's kind of the idea here. Choppy one, Aussie dollar, quite choppy, and it has been overall going up. But again, we did make this lower low, so I'm basically anticipating this 4 hour zone here to be, potentially where they put in their lower high. So that's another one I'm looking at. But right now, let me see here. So I've got two choices. I've got Aussie dollar and I've got Aussie Swiss. Now, since I try to stick with one currency, Aussie Swiss is the one that's the most bearish at -11. Aussie dollar is -7. So I could
Okay.
either do a full position on one of the two, or I could do a half position on both. Right? So that I'm not at the risk. So yeah, I mean, that might, we'll see. Let me look at it over here. Of course, from platform to platform, candles look different, right? So
Yeah.
what I think I'm going to do just for the moment, I'm going to put this in as a sell stop order right here at about 50. Okay, we got the psychological number too, right? So I'm just going to put this in. I'll probably adjust this, but I want to do it so I don't lose all my work. So 51.99. Let's just do 51.99. Got my stop loss, got my take profit. Okay. And then of course this is pretty well a demand zone down here, right? So I would definitely look to buy to cover for profit if it comes down to that area. So let's just pull that out and make it green. So I've got that one working. Now it's a little, that I just would feel a little more comfortable about that psychological number. Does that make sense? So, I mean, obviously I could take it up here, 5204, 5203. I'd be wanting to take it at least if it broke this area right here anyway. So what's a couple more pips? So yeah, psychological number, just give me a pip below and we might take that. But I put that in as a sell stop order just so that I can go take a look at the Aussie dollar, because that's another one that's hit my supply zone. Okay, so we got this. We got this origin of a strong move down. Obviously, it's in it right now. We got obviously a low point down here. That could be a potential buy to cover spot just before that. You got a lot of, let's see here. So that's 1 hour. Let me look at so again, Aussie dollar, I don't really have a true downtrend on this, right? It's basically been higher highs, higher lows, albeit very, very slow and steady. Now we do have the new lower low, but again, if I get in this trade, it's basically I'm anticipating that this would be my new lower high. Now that's again up at the 61.8 level, I'm assuming. Actually, it's a little higher. Okay, so that's a little higher. A little higher. Not the greatest fib level. 4 hours. Yeah, the 1 hour is the best look. So let's see here. So on a 1 hour time frame, we missed it here. We've obviously hit it here. So it hit it 2 hours ago actually. Had a nice little wick, but it still kept going. So let's just see what the smaller time frames look like. So, that might have, that right there. Let's see. So now let's go to 15 minutes. I'm sorry. I'm arguing with myself in my head here. 15. Yeah, I mean, if you look at it on a 30, you got this really nice candle up here that wicked down. But it was still it was a bearish candle because it finished lower than the 50% level. And then you did have this little wick down. So this right here potentially is where I would have got in. Let me go find my line real quick. So basically a break of this candle right here, which, as you can see, price did go down. So that would have potentially been, had I been watching it live, where I would have got in. Just full transparency, because we're all about transparency, right? So that would have definitely been where I would have shorted that, because it broke that nice 30-minute candle. So it's obviously going back. So, the question here is it going to get some more unfilled orders up here and turn the corner? That's really kind of the question. Going back to the 1 hour.
I do want to quickly. Sorry. Continue. Apologies.
No, go ahead. The last thing I was going to say was
the
RSI is starting to diverge, so that might be a good sign for this to turn around. Yeah, that's the only thing I was going to say. So I'm basically just watching these two Aussie pairs right now. Whichever one gives me the better feeling in my gut, I'm going to go with it.
And it looks like
So,
really overbought, right? On that RSI, that looks pretty overbought. Is
right.
that what I'm saying? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You don't usually,
Yeah. Because
but that
also,
does that mean much to you? Or like does when it's like overbought like that, does that give you a little bit of comfort in like the short just aside from the divergence?
might be a hot take, but when I have RSI and an overbought, I look at that as strength, continued
Mm.
strength to the upside. If you think
And you
about it,
know what,
because here's the
man?
deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, when something's in overbought territory, it'll stay irrational longer than we can stay solvent. So if we look right there
Yeah.
on July 18th, straight down, you can see where the RSI went over the 60 line. Well, it
Yeah.
just kept going for several more hours, right? You
Yeah.
had well, let's look at that on a daily. It might be easier to see that on a daily. Uh, Let me see. Let's find a better
I th- I
example.
think I think the
There we go.
longer the time frame is, I think the longer the time frame is, the more RSI can actually become more of like a reversal indicator. Like I
Yeah.
agree with you though, because generally speaking, I'm of the same tone where just because it pops, RSI has a high pop in it, that never means like that, oh, for sure we got to reverse. If anything, a lot of the time what will happen is maybe there will be a slight bit of a correction, like the smallest bit of a consolidation, and then another up move where like and then like you were seeing where RSI starts to diverge a little bit, and all of a sudden you're blowing past the highs of like by 10% over the next week, 2 weeks, month, and
Mm-hmm.
then it finally corrects. And so yeah, so I'm right there with you.
Yeah. I mean, here's a
But
couple just decent examples. I mean, you can see right here where price went over the 60 line for the first time. Now, I use 60/40. That's another thing. I don't use 70/30, which is your standard RSI layout. I use 60/40.
uh,
So that's
okay.
just my own personal taste. I just feel like it's, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. We test
Yeah.
all these indicators and we test different settings. One of my mentors actually taught me that, and he kind of showed me on a bunch of examples along with the class that he taught us. And he uses 60
Yeah.
40, so I just kind of get used to it. But yeah, whether you're using 60 40, 70 30, I mean, the reality is once price goes overbought or oversold, this is a good example. It went overbought here,
Mhm.
and it kept, and even after that, it still went up 6 7 8 9 days,
Yeah.
right?
And you know
Even though
what's
it even
funny
though it hit
is
back in. And then
when I used
lastly,
to use RSI, when I used to use
yeah,
RSI, I used to use 80/20. I used to use 80/20 myself, which is
okay,
funny, the opposite
yeah,
direction. So I used 80/20, used 60/40 when the normal is 70/30. That's pretty
yeah.
funny.
So we're both outcasts.
Yeah. Yep.
Forget those standard settings. But lastly, I was just going to show this as another example. I mean, clearly we went undersold as of this candle, and it just kept going. It didn't care. Right?
Yep.
It doesn't care. These markets remain, like I said, irrational longer than we remain solvent. So if I see something that's overbought, great. I ain't trying to pick a top. I'm gonna just keep. I'm gonna stay in that trend. So I don't know. That's
Right.
just kind of
Right.
how I look at it personally. I mean, not everybody does. But if people, if you can find a way to make money after selling when it's overbought or buying when it's oversold, that's great. And a lot of people do. I just choose
Mhm.
because of the higher time frames I like to do. I just use it more of a momentum indicator.
Mm. Yes.
So
Yes.
how's your trade doing?
Well, it was doing better. We can switch back to my screen and I can show real
Okay.
quick.
Yeah.
We were up like 4 points. Now we're back to only being up like a point. I'm
Mm-hmm.
starting. I actually just saw, like if I was looking at the 5 minute here, for example, this last like relatively bullish candle was on lower volume, which I hate that, to be quite honest. I very much hate that. And I don't think that this stop makes any sense anymore because if we're coming back here, I think it's just a bearish situation.
Right.
So I don't think that makes sense anymore. What I would want to do is like pull it more up to like right below this wick here. So roughly like right here, maybe actually 54. We'll do 54 here. So I'll just let it ride there for a second. If we do somehow recover on this 5 minute candle here, so we've got what 3 minutes left in the candle. If it recovers and some decent volume picks up, and we're able to push past like 59 into like 60, I am going to move this up to break even. I believe that will be the situation
Mm-hmm.
where I feel like now I will definitely be wrong if we do a pullback into my into where I executed. So we'll see how this candle works, though. Looks like it's doing something, so that's nice. So we're getting
Yep. There
some
you
good
go.
movement.
There
But
you
look at the
go.
volume. It's just the volume is low, which is
Yeah.
that's what I just don't enjoy that. I don't know. I mean, maybe just the offers are just getting taken away, and sellers are looking for a better area to get short, or I couldn't tell you. But this definitely makes me feel like I should be moving up to break even um, soon.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Well, the effort's
yeah.
not meeting the result. Is that right?
That's essentially it. And I think this what the cool thing about these overnight sessions is learning how much volume does matter in a situation like this. Because now look, we're pushing up. I'm definitely going up to break even now.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I could very
like
easily see that candle come all the way back because of the volume, low
Yeah, and
volume.
then right, exactly. And like now the volume candle is starting to shoot up a little bit because I guess it's just like that's all it takes, right? It only takes 10 seconds of a sweep, or a lifting sweep of, let's say, like 50 contracts or something on the ES
Mm-hmm.
to get the volume candle bolstered a little bit. So now it's looking good. Where are
Yeah.
we at in terms of time? We're about to the 5 minute candle's about to close. So this is panning out pretty nicely. Very very happy with this result. Would love to see it, test that 63, 64 area in the next, let's say, like 10 to 20 minutes. Given this strong move that we're having here, we almost moved 4 points in the matter of 5 minutes. So what's another 4 points? Yes, come on, give it to us.
Right.
give it to me in the next 5 minute candle. Let's go. Come
Give
on.
the man his profit.
Yes, please. Redeem me from yesterday's 2 gold trades in the overnight session. And I want to know. I want to know from the chat, from anybody watching still. You guys, what do you think? You think we're going to revisit these overnight highs in the 636.75 area or on the ES, or are we going to come back down? What do you guys think?
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, and in the NQ, I guess the if you're looking at the NQ more, that would be the overnight high would be 23,268 ish. So let us know. Fun little kind of like a poll of sorts, but we don't have to do it. We're not going to do a poll, but just put it in the comments. We'll see
Up
what
or
everybody's
down?
thinking.
So did you guys give away a couple free accounts today in your session?
Yeah, I think it was a 25K challenge account and a 50K
50.
challenge account. I
Nice.
believe so. Yeah, dude,
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
awesome! Like such awesome giveaways, man. I mean,
Yeah.
those guys, the winners are some lucky ducks. I'll tell you what. That's an
Yeah.
awesome giveaway.
No, that's awesome to see. Yeah, we gave away one at 10K. So yeah, it definitely
Nice.
pays to watch us all, doesn't it?
It really does. It genuinely does. It literally pays to watch
Yep.
us.
We had the
I mean, it's
greatest
such a.
comment in our.
Oh
I
yeah.
can't remember. I can't remember the one that ended up winning. I can't remember verbatim what he said, but something about what have I got to do to get an account. He said something about tender. I can't remember what it was. Oh my gosh, I'm
Attendees.
butchering it because I don't remember the quote, but I basically came back and said, "Yeah, well, piggybacking on your tender comment, we swiped right and picked you." So they ended up winning the account. Dang! I wish I could remember the comment, but it was just funny, and we were all cracking up in the back end, and me and the
That's too
fellas. So
good.
yeah, it was good stuff. Aussie dollar, it's kind of running away. Aussie Swiss, yeah, it's kind of running away as well. So staying safe on them. Now the Aussie Swiss, ironically, has another supply zone just above it. So if this bottom one fails, I got another one waiting just above it, which I actually like better. So,
yeah,
we're pretty much 70%, 80% through the first zone. So we're not getting the reversal like I want. But again, got a little bit. Actually, flip over to my chart back in. I just want to touch on this real quick.
Okay.
So Aussie Swiss, yeah, this is the one I'm watching. I've got that sell stop limit order in. I'm probably going to take it out because let me full screen this. It's always easier to show on full screen. Hide my master pattern indicator real quick. So yeah, this is that zone I'm looking at over on my other broker. As you can see, prices, it gave me that initial, I wouldn't call it a trigger candle because it did have a little bit of a wick on the bottom, which clearly the selling pressure exceeded the buying pressure if we're just looking at this red candle, but it still had some buying pressure, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just needed a little more information before, just selling the bottom of that, the breakout on the bottom. And not only that, we obviously had this very, very nearby, demand zone, if you will, right here. So, yeah, it's just a lot of congestion. It's clearly not really respecting this supply zone here, but we got another one right above it. It's 15. That's what I call a zone on top of a zone. I mean, if we were to zoom out to a higher time frame, it would probably end up giving us another. Let me see here. So some people look at zones like, if I just get rid of my drawings for a second, some people will do a couple things with these zones. So clearly my algorithm has identified this whole move as a supply zone. Now I don't count that whole move because price didn't even go that far away before it returned. So that's just not real for me. Now, one thing that you could do, and then again, this is just based off people's risk levels. You could go from the bottom of the wick to the bottom of the body like that. To just look at that part of the zone. That part is a zone right there. Some people will go another step further and go to the top of that body and make the zone just the wick itself. Mm-hmm. So again, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's all just risk tolerance, but also it's waiting for the upper end of that zone. Kind of hard to explain, but yeah, in general, I incorporate all the wicks. But when you got a big wide zone like this with relatively small candles all around it, yeah, I would look at least to the bottom of the body, or even the top of the body, and include just the wick. But again, when you step it down to the smaller time frame, the 15, it looks even better. So let me get rid of that one I just drew. Looks even better because it's just a nice narrow. Now it's a little smaller. It's about 4 pips. But yeah, basically what I'm saying is you could do it a few different ways. You could take the bottom zone, you could take the top zone, or you could just wrap a box around the whole thing like this and call it a zone on top of a zone and sell from that area, and then put your stop loss obviously above here. So if we use it like that, then that would be about a 2 to 1, almost maybe a 1.5 to 1 risk reward. And that's if you were real hard. Yeah. Now that I look at this zone down here, guys, if you look below, there's really not that much volume. I mean, there's a tiny volume spike. But when you're looking at the volume spread analysis all around it, you got a lot of yellow candles. You just got this little dead zone. Well, that's understandable because that's during the intraday switchover from Tuesday to Wednesday. So there's just not a whole lot of volume there. So even though the algorithm has given me this as a demand zone, I'm going to ignore it because there's nothing there. There's no volume. That was a false move up. That was just whatever, right? There was no
Yeah.
volume down here pushing that up. So in other words, I'm not even afraid of that as far as if I'm short selling, I wouldn't want to buy to cover in front of that. I didn't see that earlier when I put the limit order on, but now I see
Mhm.
it. So yeah, you just keep going down a little lower. What's below? Okay, so that's an old demand zone, and I just changed the colors because it's already been mitigated. So not too worried about that. No real volume in this area. So yeah, I mean, I could really put this trade on and just let it run. Another thing I like is I do have this downward trend line kind of up here, so that's starting to go through the zone. So I'm just basically waiting on a really good trigger candle. I could just go ahead and use this whole area, this zone on top of a zone, I call it. But if I wanted a little more fine-tuned entry, I'd wait for that 15-minute supply ahead. So there's so many options on this trade. It's kind of an embarrassment of riches, if you will. But either way, no matter what I do have that downward trend line going right through the supply zone. So it's just an extra confluence, an extra dynamic support. I mean, this would be a dynamic resistance, actually.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I could also see if I've got a VWAP, any kind of VWAP help. I don't know why it puts all these other. I still can't figure out why I can't make it save to where it doesn't put all these bands on here. It used to work just fine, but anyway, yeah. So I went to this topping point here on a smaller time frame. This little swing high. VWAP is also going through that zone. Okay, so again, VWAP. It's cool to use the extreme highs or the extreme lows just to see what price is doing after that origin of that strong move up or down. So yeah, that's given me a really good dynamic resistance as well, right around that trend line, right in that 15-minute zone, and also in the middle of that zone on top of a zone. So yeah,
Yeah.
and the best part of all is Aussie dollar Swiss franc is giving me a negative 11 very bearish bias on the fundamentals and sentiment. So got everything matching up
Yeah.
to jump into this thing. Now,
Well,
ultimately, I would like it at a higher price if I'm looking at it on a higher time frame. But I play what I got right now. It's giving me an entry on a smaller time frame. So that's basically where I'm at.
yeah.
I'm going to stick with this one. I'm going to ignore the Aussie dollar one that I was looking at, and I'm going to stick with this one whenever I get that trigger candle. At this point,
Sweet.
I'll take it no matter where I get the trigger candle within this zone or the zone upon the zone. So
Nice.
yeah, that's where I'm at.
Very
Sorry.
nice. No, you're good. You're good. We can switch back over to mine. I'm
Yeah.
3 and almost 4-ish points away from my take profit, but the way that the Nasdaq and the Dow are kind of lining up, it looks pretty good. Like it looks like we should see another upturn here, and um, I don't want to jinx it, but it's looking pretty decent. So there was a lot of buying volume on that last push up there, especially on the Nasdaq, and I'm just hoping that there weren't buyers that felt like they got trapped up there, and then they're letting go, like, or they're just taking a little bit of profit off, and then yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's the case. I mean, the selling volume in the Nasdaq is super low on these last like 2 5-minute candles. So I think it's just a small little pullback, and then we'll continue higher. That's my thought process. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Regardless, if in the next 10 or 15 minutes the ES pulls back to my break even, so be it. I don't mind. I do feel like I already have I feel like I've won given the position as it is in the overnight market. I love being able to get in these overnight positions and be in the money close to like close to instantly, like within like 5 minutes being looking good. So it's just getting my rep count up in these overnight sessions. It feels good
Well,
to do it. So
that's right.
yeah, I will say the I probably will not take it. I likely will not take Dow trades in the overnight. It's so funny to look at like the volume of like the Nasdaq in the overnight versus the S&P and versus the Dow. Jeez, dude. Like the Nasdaq has some decent volume that trades. The S&P not too much, but it's all right. And then the Dow, it's just like there's 1 minute candles that have like 4 contracts. It's like so 2 contracts, 4 contracts, 1 contract. It's kind of ridiculous, but
Yeah.
come on. Now I would love to see a base out here at like the 63.58 area if it pulls back for a continued move
Well,
upwards, because that would probably be somewhere around the NQ's 50 period EMA that I look at. I wish I could also put here MNQ. Let's see, 1 minute, or not 1 second. I definitely don't need the 1 second chart. That's crazy. Would love to see the NQ bounce off of this 50 period, this light blue 50 period EMA line. That would be fantastic. Please.
yeah.
Or do it
Yep, there
sooner.
you
I
go.
don't even care.
Yeah, I kind of, you know what? Your 21 and your 50 is basically the same thing as this two zones I'm looking at. You know, I
Yeah.
could take I could take
Yeah.
I could take my trade off the bottom supply, or I can take it off the top. Just depends on where price goes. I don't know. Just kind of
Yeah.
compared that in my head.
No, yeah, that's it's kind of cool how some of that stuff lines up, um,
Yeah.
I love the 21 period and the 50 period. I when I look at the 21 period and the 50 period EMA for just any sort of trending direction, it tends to work out relatively well in my experience. But then also an interesting one is I'll use the 9 period EMA for like for a little bit longer term time frames, like like the 30 minute or an hour or whatnot. And that's kind of interesting. I don't use that as much, but or even on like the daily time frame, using like the 8 or 9 period is kind of interesting. So
Mhm.
if you have anybody ever wants to check out some EMAs, give the 8 or 9 period EMA a check, and on the longer time frames, and maybe the 21 and the 50 on the shorter time frames, like the 1 minute or the 5 minute.
Yeah.
Man,
Guys, it
volume.
sounds like we just got some word. It sounds like we're going to be giving away an account here soon. Here in about 20 minutes, at the bottom of the hour, I believe it was which K was that? 50K account. So
Man,
why should we give it to you? Tell us why in the comments. Do make sure your email address is updated on your YouTube account, because that, I believe, is how they do reach out to them. Is that right, Paul? From the email?
yeah.
Email
Make
on the YouTube?
make sure your email account is like attached to your account, but also like in the description of your channel. So there's an area where you can go into YouTube, click on your channel, edit your channel, and then go there, scroll down, and there will be a description area. Put it in that so that it shows like to the public essentially what your email is, and the Ola Prime team can then enter you into this giveaway. So
Yeah, so definitely, I think you do have to like or you do have to like, share, subscribe to the Hola Prime YouTube account and also the Hola Prime TV account. Is that right? I think you got to do both.
Yes, yeah.
I believe so.
Subscribe to
So
both,
definitely,
comment in the
yeah,
chat, and like the stream. So do all those and you'll be
yeah,
good.
yeah. We just found out about it a little bit ago. So yeah, let us know. Let us know your thoughts. Why should you? Why
Yeah.
should you be the one to claim it? All right. Again, we're trying to grow
Awesome
this channel.
opportunity.
Yeah, it is. We're doing this thing organically. It's literally all of us in office. So, yeah, just please do like, share, subscribe. We're trying to grow. Yeah, just like we've heard a lot. We're one of the most transparent firms that there is in the industry with 1 hour payouts. So, um, any other firms I've ever looked up, trading prop firms, has been several days, if at all. I've seen a lot of bad negative things in the prop trading industry where people aren't getting payments. So it's
Oh
definitely a
yeah.
quick turnaround, quite transparent. You got people all over Discord that are helping people out, us coaches as well. The back end people, as far as helping people with their accounts. Um, yeah, and then all the other channels. We're on all the channels, all the social media. So definitely just follow us wherever you prefer to watch the most. But definitely, as far
Yeah.
as this contest goes, get your email updated, and yeah, we'll be pulling a number out of a hat here in about 17 minutes. Pretty cool opportunity,
Yeah.
huh, Paul?
Dude, I wish I was eligible to win this 50K
Yeah,
guy. No, I'm just
that was my first
no,
thought last week when we started this.
I'm super happy it's going out to somebody. We definitely need to spread the word of Ola Prime for sure. And I think there's
Yep,
honestly no better way to do it than give them access to a
that's
challenge
right.
account, whether it's 25K, 10K, 50K, whatever. I mean, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
first one we gave away on our Forex Fire stream, I believe that was Elmer FX, and at the start of this week, so yesterday, he hopped on the chat and was saying how he'd already made $59 in his first week. So hey, $59 is $59. That's a good start. So we've been kind of
That's
challenging our other guys. We had another winner, a couple other winners. Yeah, one later on last week, and then we had one this morning, I believe. So yeah, we're just kind of challenging them all to meet or exceed Mr. Elmer FX on that $59 in
yeah,
his first week.
$59. That's a pretty nice steak dinner on it, if you ask me. I
Yep.
mean, go to
Yep.
like a Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, you can get a sirloin probably and a glass of wine. Covers it. Boom.
That's
So,
exactly what Coach Richard said because he's over in South Africa. He said, that'll buy a hell of a dinner here. South
well, it
Africa.
looks like an update on my trade. I don't know if you guys just saw, but
Oh, yeah.
my break even stop just got filled. So we were at the
All
at the
right.
best point there. We were about 3 points away from my take profit, which
Mhm.
equivalently is about 12 ticks. And but we were like $22 in the money or something, and then some selling pressure just came in and kind of took over there. So I'm okay with getting out scratched, though. That was a good trade to be in. We were in that trade for sheesh. I think we were. Let's look at that real quickly.
Quite a
How
while.
long was I? Yeah, I was in that
An
trade
hour.
for
Hour.
literally 54, 56 minutes. No, 50,
Mhm.
54 minutes. Wow, almost an hour. Like that's a
That's long for
that's
you,
a
isn't it?
pretty grueling. Yeah, that's pretty long. I mean, I think the
Yeah.
longest I've ever held a trade, I was also another overnight session where I held for like 3 hours or something because I held it past our session. I held
Wow.
and then it got stopped out at like 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m. or something. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't mind holding on to trades for a while. I genuinely don't mind, as long as I'm able to manage them. Like I'm able to be in front of the screen and like make sure that I'm seeing the structure build the way that I want it to build. I should learn how to be the set it and forget it guy. Like you've said, like how those guys that they just seem to do really well. But in the overnight sessions, uh, you know, if I'm going to let it like go past the session, I'll probably only let it go till like 1 a.m. or so. Because number one, even though I have a stop in there, like an OCO bracket, stop and take profit, where if one of them hits, they all just are finished. It's a safety net, but at the same time, I just don't like holding trades overnight. To be quite honest, I just don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
So if I ever want to hold a trade overnight, or if I ever want to hold a trade through our session and into the night, I'll probably get out of it around 1 or so, and then and be done with it. So win or lose.
Yeah. Just looking at a couple calendar events. Today we basically had Fed Chair Powell speaking at just more of a banking and regulatory conference. It had nothing to do with policy, to my knowledge. So that's why that was a yellow folder, or I'm sorry, an orange folder event, not a red folder. Richmond Manufacturing Index, a little more of a orange folder type event. Looks like they had a negative 20 for their actual number. That's just not one of the. It's important, but not as important as like some of these other ones. University of Michigan, AAII, investor sentiment, that type of stuff. But they did have a lower number for the U.S. dollar. That was early this morning. Excuse me. But tomorrow we got some more lip flapping from Governor Bullock of the RBA, Royal Bank of Australia. That is at 10 o'clock tomorrow night, which will be right at the end of my stream with Daryl. I believe, yeah, you're not on tomorrow. Is that right? It's me and Daryl.
I am not on tomorrow. Yeah.
So, okay. So, yeah, that'll be the main event tomorrow. Dollar does have existing home sales coming out at 9 a.m. Previous of a 4.03 million. They are forecasted at an even 4 million. So that should be more of a negligible number there as far as market moving. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Governor Bullock has to say tomorrow evening for the Australian dollar. And then the main news of the week is obviously Thursday, where we do have all the PMI data coming out for both sectors, the services, manufacturing, and that's for Euro, quite a bit for the Euro. So France, Germany, they're releasing their info. And then the British pound. This is all occurring 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. area for the Euro and the pound data. But then the dollar, the Euro financing rate, so their interest rate number will be coming out at 7:15 a.m. Central Time as well, Central Standard, where they are expected to keep rates unchanged. And I think that's their first time, Paul, that they are projected to keep their rates the same, because the prior, 6 or 7 interest rate decisions, they had been dropping rates. So that's notable, I think. They might be down to an area where they feel comfortable hanging out for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
That's
might be a little bit of a,
I wanted to,
Yep, go ahead.
No, I wanted to ask you actually, when that kind of news comes out during your morning sessions, do the FX pairs start to kind of pop off a little bit normally, and some of these international? Yeah. I figured. That's cool.
Yeah, we can get some pretty good whipsaw action in both directions at the same time. So, yeah, the interest rate report release is the main report, in my opinion, that you want to stay away from trading until price balances itself out and picks a direction, because it'll whipsaw 100 pips in either direction within 5 minutes. It might drop 100 pips, then turn around and raise 120 pips, then drop 160 pips. So it's just best to stay out. If I see a country that's expected to raise or drop their rates, like if they're expected to drop their rates, let's just use that as an example. Then, if I'm getting a bearish bias on that country's currency as it is, then I want to try to hopefully be in a higher time frame short sell in advance. Now, when I say in advance, meaning maybe a day or two in advance, a time frame that's long enough to give it time to bounce off my zone and sink. If it goes down into profit 50, 75 pips, then I'm going to stay in that trade, because it could turn around and drop it another 100 pips just like that. If they do drop the rates further, just as an example. So
Right.
it's a little bit tough. It's tough. It's a tough game to play, no matter how experienced you are. But I don't know. It's just a quick and easy way to snag 100 pips in a minute sometimes. But
Yeah.
it very easily can go the other way if they actually don't drop their rates like they say they're going to. So it's a little bit, yeah, it's a challenging game to play. It can be dangerous though. So if I'm in a break even trade, no, I'm getting the heck out. But
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, that does sound a little dangerous.
yeah,
Those
yeah, it's
kinds of.
dangerous.
Yeah, I agree.
It's only if I'm in the profit a good 80, 90, 100 pips. And it's a
Right.
gamble because I could turn
Exactly.
around and lose my whole profit and just get to break even. But I'm at least putting it to break even at that point, if that makes sense. So essentially, it's a free trade. I'm already up 100 pips, but I could be up 200 pips in a minute, or I could lose that
Exactly.
and just have a break even trade. So that's the main idea. That's the main point. That's the distinction, is only if I'm in a
Yeah.
profitable trade. But that's just my risk tolerance.
And
If I can
like
make an
like
extra
you said,
yeah.
there. Yeah, you have a buffer. Like as long as there's a relatively large buffer that you have, like you're saying, you're in the money and everything. It's like, yeah, it's a
Right.
little bit. That's a little bit different. Then there are people that'll just be like, all right, 5 seconds before long,
Right.
and then it's like,
No,
oh
I don't do
wow,
that.
yeah,
And
exactly.
most prop firms won't even allow that anyway.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah,
the
and
5
rightfully
minutes
so, to be quite
before, 5 minutes
honest.
after a trade. Yeah. No, it's a dangerous game. But if I'm break even or only 10, 20 pips up, no, I'm out. Close me out
Hmm.
before that comes out. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, exactly, and so like on a different on a just going back quickly to like the trade that I just took, and I just started seeing and seeing something and realizing like, so my whole thing, like this was my, like, just tell me what you think about this, Coach Tiger, and in the chat you guys can also let me know as well what you think. But generally speaking, my thought was, we kind of did this, we turned over here and then we got bullish, and that's why we broke out of this area of the 63.54 area. I would have liked to have gotten long in this little pullback of like 63.55, but I ended up getting long like 1 point higher, which was what it was. I was cool with getting long another contract if it got between 63.53 and 63.54. Didn't get that chance because it immediately turned up, and we were making, on the 1 minute here, we were making higher highs and higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high, same low, higher high, and then we broke through that like double bottom
Mm-hmm.
there. And that's why I put my trade to break even, because to myself, I was thinking like, this is an obvious ladder trend. Like I don't want to be in it if it breaks that. Like especially in the overnight. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how the overnight really reacts with that kind of like ladder pat. Like I'm assuming once trend, like my assumption is once trend breaks, trend's going to break. So it then broke that whole thesis of higher highs and higher lows. And then it turned right back up. I mean, now it's coming back down here, so we'll see what happens. But I guess the point is chat, let me know, would you have done that differently? Would you have let your stop continue to be down here to allow it to, revert back to the upside? Or would you have done what I did and, moved your stop up to break even uh, because essentially, sorry, I just got distracted by another comment. If would you have just moved it up break even for the sake of the trend being broken, or would you have done something else? Coach Tiger, I don't know what you think about it. What your thoughts would be, or if you have anything you could glean some light
That was
on.
for
But
was that the S&P? I'm sorry, the MES you said?
yes, yeah, exactly.
What in the world? Sorry, I was just looking at it on the chart over here. Micro. And I'm just looking at on my screen since I got my indicator, but well, yeah, I mean, I definitely would have been careful because, when we can flip to my chart real quick if you want.
Yeah, and really quickly, I will remind the our viewers, you have to for the requirements, you have to put your email like in your account, like to be entered. So if you don't have your email in your YouTube description, and there's also an area below the description too that just says email address. So put your email address in there in both areas possible, and then refresh your page, or like save it and refresh, because we're going to be doing the drawing soon, and we
Pretty
just want
quick.
everybody to have a chance that that can have a chance. So please make sure you do that in the next couple minutes, and then we'll announce the winner. So thank you. Sorry. Quickly, we'll
Yeah.
before the drawing, we'll go over a chart or something here.
Yeah, I was just gonna. Yeah, but just to answer your question, I would have done exactly what you did, just because it did hit a 5 minute, what I call 5 minute supply zone, which means it would have, I could very easily see it reversing, which it kind of has started right there.
Okay.
Right.
All
So
right.
yeah, it ended up hitting that supply there. So no, you did it just fine. I mean, from my standpoint, probably would have done the same.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that is like a sound. Yeah, I believe, like, to me, that's just like a sound way of being in that trade. It just made sense to me.
And then
Again,
you're looking at a 1 minute.
I did something. I exited the trade in a way where the stop was moved simply because my thesis was going to be proven wrong. Why would I stay in a trade that where break even is, where trend would have broken? Like, there's just no, like, if I'm trying to do a trend trade, that doesn't make any sense for me to be like, that would just be hoping that it goes back into trend at that point, if it came back to my break even number. So I can't trade
Mm-hmm.
based off of hope, unfortunately, because I think that'll dash my consistency in my results as a trader. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Just
So let me
yeah.
let it real quickly before we do the drawing. I'll go through. So like what I do so for Let It Be, what I do is in the view your channel. If you go to YouTube and then you go up to the right hand corner, you say view your channel. You click view your channel, and then there's a button at the top that says customize, or close to the top says customize channel. And then once you customize, you go into customize. You then scroll down to description, and you add your email there, and then you can also, on top of that, add it to your contact info, and add it there as well, and then publish, and then you click publish, and then you're done. So
Well, let's get everybody's emails updated. Aussie
it
Swiss. Let's
isn't
see. Am I getting in?
it
What's
isn't the
that?
most intuitive it isn't the most intuitive process, with adding your email to YouTube. It is a little difficult, but all right.
Yeah.
I think we're
Oh.
getting close to announce it. Tiger, do you
Oh
do you want to
boy.
announce?
Sure. I think they're going to throw us a graphic. Is that right, back in? Let's see
All
what we
right. Well,
got here. Drum roll.
we'll do a little drum roll. All right. Good
Awesome what
chance,
you
I think.
said. What's that?
I said
That's
he
awesome
had a
what you
pretty good
said, man.
chance.
Yeah, pretty good chance. Began his journey with
Uh,
nothing learning everything on his own, working full time, no help, honest, working day and night to go full time. And he did mention somewhere on there about just wanting to do it to support his wife and family. Man, hey, it doesn't get any better than that.
That is awesome.
Let it be. It sounds like you have found your why, and your why will help you go as far as you want in this game. Trading is a game at the end of the day. So yeah, as long as you have your why, man, you just stick to it. But this way, we'll get you a start, get you rolling, man. Start proving your mettle, and just bet small.
Definitely.
Right. Don't overdo the percentage of the account. Just keep small incremental bets, man. Pass that thing and start making some money. So congrats on that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And,
you're welcome.
We will be emailing you. We will email you with more information on everything. So so let it be 7. You are the winner. Congrats. Super cool. 50K challenge account is yours. So just watch your email and yeah.
I'm jealous.
Get to the trading.
I'm jealous, but no, congrats. In all honesty, that's pretty cool, man.
Really
all right.
is.
Well, that was good. That was fun. Yeah. Still just waiting on some trigger candles, man. My price for Aussie Swiss just kind of chilling sideways. So it's hard to sit on your hands, isn't it?
It is, man. I'll tell you what, like, especially, I really loved that long trade that I had, and, getting stopped out of it, not a big deal. And it's reversing up now. And I'm like, man, I just wish I was able to take another trade, not even if it was in the ES or the NQ. I wish I should have been looking at gold too. I didn't really pay too much attention to gold tonight. Oh, and look at that. It's basically done nothing all day, or all night. So now I don't feel as bad. So never mind.
For what, gold you said?
Yeah, gold is looking. Yeah, gold looks pretty boring. It is terrible. So.
Yeah, it's being a lazy. Yeah, I mean, I kind of observed a 10-minute demand zone here. We did have a lot of volume in this whole kind of crappy period, congestion period on a smaller time frame. But I did like the way price left that candle, though. I mean, if I get rid of my drawings for a second, yeah, red candle, 1, 2, 3 green candles going up. So I mean, there might be some unfilled orders left in that area. I mean, we did, like I said, we got a lot of volume in that whole area. So, but I'm kind of the same. It just kind of came up. It did give me my 3 candles, but then it just got lazy and just said, I feel like rolling over. We got this bearish candle right here with a decent amount of volume. So this very well could push right through that for all I know. Look at this. This was annoying. I had this demand zone drawn up this morning. What was that, a 5-minute time frame? Just bounced off of it perfect. Look at that. Bounced perfectly and just shot to the moon. It just shot to the moon. Oh, that was, let me see, Tuesday. Oh, that was on stream. Why did I not? Oh, you know what? I didn't take that trade because I was busy with Nazi. Yeah, I was busy with the Nazi, I think, at that time. Just fighting it, trying to decide if I wanted to get in this trade here. Is that the one I got into? Let me look here. Sunday. Oh, wait. Right here. Oh, yeah. So that was the loss that I had. So, yeah, I was playing around with it over here. This was our morning stream. So I was so fixated on the Nazi that I failed to even pay attention to the gold trade. But it is what it is. That's just Murphy's Law, right? Man, that would have been holy smokes. It's just looking at my risk reward on that. 200, it's 250. Let's just call it 250. A lot. That was a bunch. What, 30 to 1? 20 to 1, 30 to 1?
casually 30 to 1. If only every trade like that I have could be like that. My goodness.
Ah. Now, realistically, on this one, I would have likely trailed my stop. I would have brought it up to under here, under here. Once it got up to this area, I would have probably brought it under here, brought it under. I definitely would have brought it under here. So had I been into that trade, just again, full transparency, I would have been out. Oops, where is my? Let me double. Okay, so that's 0.07% to this point here. So 7, 14, 21, 23, 2, 49, 50, 63. So 9 to 1. Still would have been a 9 to 1.
Yeah. That's beautiful, though. Jeez, 9 to 1, man.
Yeah. Now that's a very, that's literally trying to get, pick a needle out of a haystack. But
yeah, I get that.
If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas, like I always say.
I do have something to show you. There's something that in the New York session. In the New York session, we'll do this when there are small little lulls in the trading day, and just get things a little interesting. But if we could switch over to my chart really quick, we kind of draw some Picassos of sorts, some might say.
Some chart art,
and so we got.
Yes.
We got Let It Be Seven's account is going to be like this rocket blasting off to the moon. Got the satellites orbiting here, even an alien or two hanging out on the dark side of the moon.
I guess some Pink Floyd action too.
Nice. Dude, oh my gosh, what an album, right? My goodness, dude.
Oh my gosh, I played the hell out of that thing when I was out of high school.
Dude, I mean, honestly, I would say top 5 album of all time, in my opinion. That's just my personal opinion. But top 5 album all time, and then if we're on, just while we're on the same page here of top albums of all time, I'm also putting in my top 5 Boston. Literally their first album, Boston. I'm putting Boston in there. I think that is one of the most complete albums to ever be in existence, where every single song you flick through is just an absolute heater. So
now, is that the band that plays like Hard Habit to Break?
No, like More Than a Feeling. I think you're thinking of Chicago.
Chicago, that's right.
More Than a Feeling.
It was one of the cities.
Dude, Chicago, also great. Also great band. Also great band for sure. But anybody, I don't know how many people are, here are necessarily big like classic rock fans necessarily, but
I definitely
More Than a
am.
Feeling, Peace of Mind, Smokin'. Yeah, there's just some absolute monsters on that album. But yeah.
No, that's a good album. That really is. I mean, that's that 80s rock. That's always been my favorite. I'd probably have to pick a Queen album or David Bowie. I'm real big fans of them, both of them. Yeah, those are my favorites.
Classic.
Under Pressure, that's my favorite song all time. All time.
Oh, that's so great.
Me and David Bowie. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No shame. No shame in that either.
But dude, no, of course not. That's an absolute classic, man. There's no worries with that. Ozzy. Oh yes, Let It Be. Dude. We were on stream. We were on stream earlier during the afternoon session when we learned about that, and I was like, dude. I also, the first comment that I made was, I'm surprised he made it as long as he did, to be quite honest, with how he treated his body over the years. But I wasn't expecting. I just, for some reason, wasn't expecting that. I don't know why. I felt like I guess in my mind I was just thinking like he's immortal or something. I didn't ever think that day would come. But
I know.
But that's a sad one.
But that's a superpower in its own, just making it that long with, like you said, everything he did in his life. Dude. I mean, that's one hell of a life right there. No, I listened to a couple Aussie songs when I got out in my car earlier. I was listening to Mr. Tinker Train. That's like my favorite. And then
Yeah.
their ballad. That's the greatest. And then their ballad, "Mama, I'm Coming Home." Of course, everybody's posting on Facebook memes, or not memes, but just like cool little murals with that song on there. But no, that's definitely
Yeah.
my two favorite Aussie songs.
Yeah,
Mr.
man. Just
Tinker Train.
such a unique person. Like just so a genuine one of one. It is very. I've said this before to like people in conversation where it is just sometimes tough to come by genuine one of one people that genuinely
Mm-hmm.
that's like there is no comparison. And he
Yeah,
is one of those people. It is sad to lose someone like that who is a genuine one of one. So,
yeah, that
R.I.P.
sure is.
R.I.P.
Well, let's see. Trying to figure out if I'm getting a
Oh,
trigger candle or what's
oh,
up.
okay. And interrupt me, but I did want to, if you
Go
do
ahead.
get a trigger candle, interrupt me for
Yeah,
sure. But I heard, or I heard you were a bowler.
yeah,
You're a
yeah.
bowl. Guess
Yep.
what?
What's
Guess
up?
what?
You too?
This guy.
Hey, hey! I saw you do the golf.
I
There's a lot of golfers we got, but
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you
yeah.
do leagues and tournaments, bowling tournaments, leagues?
Well, okay, let me put it this way. I used to be a bowler. I don't bowl I don't do leagues anymore. But I
Mm-hmm.
was in high school. I played competitively in high school, and then I also played in leagues, and I played in like on like sports patterns and stuff in tournaments too and whatever. So,
Oh, okay.
uh,
Hell yeah.
but I heard about your accolades, and I was like, all right, this guy is the level that I was like. I will humbly say you are better than me for sure. You were better than like you are better than me now than I was in my prime. In my prime, like for example, back when I was playing and competitive and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
I think my average, just on like house pattern average, was like 225 ish, and
Yeah.
then I didn't actually ever even calculate what my averages were on sports patterns in like tournaments. I didn't do the
Yeah.
greatest, to be quite honest, because I didn't have a ton of practice on them. But
Mm-hmm.
225 average. Went to states, the state tournaments in high school every all 4 years, and yeah, it was pretty decent. I played against
Cool.
my rival high school had the captain's father was the owner of the bowling alley, and he was also
Mm-hmm.
on the USA team.
Team USA.
So
Oh,
that
who was that?
TJ Burrell, I don't know if you remember that guy. He was a
Burrell.
monster. Yeah, TJ Burrell, like
Burrell.
Barral. He is my
No, I
age.
don't think
He's
I
like a
know that
year.
name.
I think he's like a year older than me. So, but this
Yeah.
was also, to be fair, this is also 15 years ago.
Yeah. No, that's good. No,
So,
I grew up
yeah.
working in a bowling alley in high school. That was my first job, so I was able to bowl for free every single day for like almost 3 years, and that's really how I
What
got
a
my start.
That is awesome. Like, dude,
Yeah,
you had multiple. Like, I heard you had multiple. Okay, number one, I will say, never bowled a 300. You have multiple 300s. You have multiple 800 plus series. I only ever
yeah,
had one 800 series in my life. I was a very consistent
yeah,
bowler, but I didn't. I've had a 297, 298. I've had
yeah,
a too many 290s and way too many 279s. I mean, 279s are like a dime a dozen for you probably, but I probably had upwards of, 40 or 50 279s where you're just like,
yeah.
again, this was
You know,
also
it's
like,
funny though. It's funny,
yeah.
Paul. With all I mean, with all those 300s and 800s and everything, as hard as this is to believe, I never finished a league average at 220 or higher.
Oh, really?
So
I wouldn't expect
219.
that,
Yeah.
dude.
Me
Yeah.
too. That's always been the monkey on my back. Like I'll do really well, and it never fails. I'll have just a bad, horrible night, every so often, and it keeps me underneath the 220 threshold. So, yeah, 219
Well,
is the highest average I ever hit. But
I'll tell you
yeah,
what, brother. I'll take that 300 from you, and you can take my 225 if you want it.
yeah.
Uh,
No, that's
I'll,
that's that's
uh,
great. I mean, I made quite a bit of money. I mean, me and my doubles partner got second in state one year here in Kansas, but I screwed up and I used the wrong handicap. I was using
ah,
the then current average, even though I was supposed to use the previous year's average. I thought I had to use the current, but because it wasn't 10 pins higher than the previous year, I didn't have to use the current. I was able to use the previous. I didn't know that until after the tournament was over. So had I used the correct average, I'd have had more handicap. We would have easily won first place in doubles, but instead we lost it by 4 pins.
oh no.
Got second by 4 pins. Yeah. So that'll haunt me the rest of my life. But anyway,
Yeah, no, dude,
um,
oh man, that is brutal.
yeah, all good.
Any
But
trigger
no,
candles?
not yet, not yet. Yeah, still just kind of dosey doing here with and at this point, I'm just looking at both the Aussie Swiss and the Aussie dollar, just kind of keeping an eye on that Aussie dollar too. It started to give me a little bit of a trigger, but yeah, this is pretty much. I mean, it's 9:48 my time here, p.m. I'll probably just continue watching these two, just in case they don't give me the trigger here on stream. But um,
Yeah, yeah.
that's
Uh,
it. Yeah, I'm not really getting anything at the moment. I do have the EuroCAD. Let's just go ahead and flip on over to my chart. I know we got 12 minutes. We'll just take a look. If you get anything,
I do.
holler.
I do see
Or
quick
do you have something
stage
else?
trades. Stage trades just entered the chat. Said hey, and can we?
Hey,
I'm assuming you
Stace.
meant to say, can we look at
Stacy. Yeah.
gold for today? I'm
Oh
assuming
yeah,
that's what you meant.
absolutely.
We
Yep.
did look at
Stacy's the
gold a
one
little
that won
bit.
our. He's the one that
Uh,
won our account this morning. So congrats again,
okay.
Stacy. All right.
If you want to look at
Okay.
XAU, yeah, we'll transition the chart to you, and then we can look at XAU USD since they specifically asked for XAU USD instead of the futures. So we could do that if you
Oh, I
wanted
got you. Yeah.
to. I mean,
Yeah. So Stacy, real quick, if I'm looking at gold just from a 30,000 foot level, let me just. I'm looking off on another screen of mine at my economic data. Where's my sort button at? Sort. Hold on, I got to reset my site over here real quick. But I do think gold is giving me maybe it's giving me a bullish signal. I got to look again. Gold. Okay, so no, so gold has actually moved. I think it was at like a 3 or a 4 this morning. So it's a neutral bias. I'm getting a score of a 2. So just so everybody watching knows, if I add up all the economic report releases, reports that have beaten expectations, reports that have not beaten expectations, reports that are neutral, I basically assign a point. If it beat expectations, I assign a point to that. If it did not meet expectations, it's a -1. So just kind of imagine that for all the different reports: GDP, PMIs, retail sales, inflation data, employment data. Add everything together, that gives me a total number. So when I do that for gold, I'm getting a lot of bullish data and a lot of bearish data. So it's kind of a mix. So by the time you average it all out, it's a long-winded way of saying I'm neutral. So I'm not really interested in buying or selling. I'm just watching, because on gold it's giving me a 2. Now that's just the sentiment and the fundamental level. But if we take a look at just the technical level, because I know we got a lot of people that trade just technicals, but yeah, if we're looking at gold, specifically the XAU USD, yeah, clearly been in a long-term uptrend, but the last month or so has been sideways, or actually way more than a month. I'm sorry, we're talking way back in April. So it's just been a longer-term sideways trend. Now, when you look at it on hold on a second, I'm trying to get my master pattern indicator on. Okay, back to the week. So on a weekly time frame, sideways. Anytime you see a box, that's a contraction point. That's where price just kind of went sideways, right? and then eventually price leaves the box. So currently in a weekly time frame, big sideways action. So I wouldn't personally be that interested in getting involved in gold until it starts to break the top of that box. And then look for a pullback to find a demand zone to buy that alongside. Now that's the week. So what does it look like if we look down at some actionable time frames? So number one, I really want to see, where's my tool at? Here we go. So where price is, I want to get involved after I see price breaking this all-time high, but then get a pullback and find a demand zone somewhere in this area. So let's just put it there for now, and then to the long side. Because if you're buying down here, it's basically a long-term diddling in the middle. So that's a daily. And these red boxes represent resistance points, so overhead supply zones. Let's just go zoom into those real quick. So it looks like we got those on, what is it, 2 hour? Something like that. Yeah, so 2 hour supply zone. This one's already been mitigated because I've changed the color on it. And then we got this 2 hour supply zone as well. So fast forward to today, it's still got a little ways to get back up there, but if we're looking at it on a smaller time frame, yeah, 4 hours, I agree, it's uptrend. So then just kind of going down to a smaller time frame, hour, 30-minute, 15-minute, 10-minute. On the 10-minute chart, we do have this last green candle down before a move upward. 1, 2, 3 green candle. That's a bullish signal. Now, again, it's been boring, kind of like what Paul was saying earlier. It's just been going sideways. So it's been kind of boring. It didn't really go that far. But you could potentially take a stab at it alongside of 34.12. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. As always, this is for educational purposes only. But I could see a scenario where if I had the fundamentals and the sentiment in my favor, I could see a scenario where I'd take a small stab at this area, just buy down here, and maybe sell into profit around this high point right here. So that's about a 2 to 1, 2.5 to 1, depending on if you do, if you just have a limit order, if you use confirmation candles like I do, it would be a little less than that because I'd be probably buying up in this area if and when I get an engulfing candle. In fact, I think I believe, Stacy, I think you might have said you use engulfing candles this morning, if I remember right. But yeah, just having price, come down, maybe look at a 5-minute engulfing candle, and then just maybe look to take a quick 2 to 1 trade alongside. So that's if you hit that zone. Now further retracements down, I've got my main alert at 33.70 because that's a 4 hour demand zone along these former resistance points. That blue line represents former resistance, and really the same thing in this area. I mean, I could even put another line right here in this area here, make that the same thing, make it blue and dashed, right? So demand zone, former resistance point, probably going to be in the neighborhood of between the 50 and 61 level. So that's not a bad area. And again, that one's a little bigger time frame, so we're looking like this, right? Something like that. So you really got to play on a 4 hour time frame, and you got to play on a smaller 10-minute time frame. But as always, make sure you put a stop loss below your zone and take what the market gives, right? Even if it's just a small profit. So that's kind of where I set with it. Yeah, engulfing is really good and consistent on gold. ISIS, exactly. Yeah, I've just done a lot of limit orders in my past. Like my first probably decade of trading, that was what I did mostly. And the more I study supply and demand, the more I realize the market doesn't often care, right? You get one piece of good news or bad news, and it'll just blow right through your zone. So if you don't confirm your entry, well, you're having a lot of small nonsense losses. So yeah, that's kind of the way I look at gold at the moment. I know we got about 4 minutes left. Paul, I think we can't hear you again. Yep, he's inaudible. But anyway, while he's getting up and running, we'll get his last thoughts in a
Okay,
moment.
yeah, that was weird. You can hear me now, right? I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, I was like, what the heck? I think something happened with my headphones real quick, but that was weird. Like they went on like pause. It was that I've never had that happen before. So what I did want to say real quick was that Andre LLC hopped in the chat and was checking in and wanted to say, hey there, good to see you again. He was in the
Nice.
earlier stream as well, and then yeah, and I did want to add actually to your gold, right? You were on the 15-minute chart, and at the roughly, I think for you it'd be 7:15
Right.
Central Time candle on the 15-minute chart, like so, like basically like
Mm-hmm.
4 hours ish ago. That inverted hammer candle, I don't know if you can see it. That red inverted hammer candle. Geez
Yeah, up here.
Louise, if there was, yeah, if there is ever a question of what buyer exhaustion looks like, if you're looking at a depth of market, for example, and you're looking at order flow and you see high volume occurring and you see
Mm-hmm.
something like that at the top of a range, and then as soon as it settles down and it creates that hammer, essentially, that inverted hammer, I mean, you
Yeah.
can see what the aftermath. You can see what the aftermath was. I love those kinds of setups. I really love those kinds of setups personally.
Yeah.
Um, I just didn't see that
Well, it's
obviously because I wasn't paying attention to gold at that time of day. But if you were in the market at that point, I wouldn't be surprised if a bunch of people got on board once that candle closed. Get short, you put your stop above the high of that candle,
mm-hmm.
and you just ride that sucker down to maybe an EMA or a zone, a supply zone, like you were saying that you could that you have like that green zone right there, you know. So
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah. I
a
mean, it's
that's an
all.
opportunity. Those are like that's like one of my A plus setups. Like, but being
Yeah.
able to see that in real time when I have a heat map and order flow going, oh, we're actually coming up here on the end of the session. Shoot, we only have a minute
And
left.
plus,
I was
it's an
getting out
engulfing.
of
Yeah. Plus, it's a bearish engulfing candle when you look at the 5 minutes, just the bodies of it. So,
yeah,
yeah, 15
yeah,
minutes, got the big wick on top. 5 minutes, you got the bearish engulfing. So, yeah, excellent spot.
right.
But wow, we've reached the end, right? About 20
We
seconds.
have, man. Yeah, quick.
Congrats
That was
again. Let it be
yeah.
7. Appreciate everybody. Stacy, hopefully we'll see you again in the morning and we'll get your account rolling.
Yeah.
So, um, any last thoughts there, Paul?
All I have to say is everybody just join the Discord, the Ola Prime Discord and the Ola Prime Futures Discord. And yeah, congratulations to Let It Be 7. And yeah, just join and chat with us. And yeah, let's have a good time. Let's get some trading done. All
Let's do
right.
this thing. Peace out, everybody.
All
Have a
right.
good one.
See you, everybody. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Hola Prime. Trade with transparency.